Hi, my name is Donny Claxton. I am the owner and publisher of Claxton Creative in Dallas, Texas. We make books for the iPad, and here's another episode where I'm going to talk today about 3D imagery that we make for the books that go in the iPad that you can't see anywhere else. You can't do this on a Nook. You can't do this on a Kindle. You certainly can't do this in a traditional book. And that's what makes what we're doing so fascinating, so incredible, and so different from anything else that's out there on the market. Now, one of the things I really like highlighting is our book that we've done with Dr. Mark Van Stone on the ancient Maya. The book is available on iTunes books or the iBooks store at mvs2012.com. That's Mark Van Stone 2012.com, mvs2012.com. And you can buy the book. It's $14.99, but inside the book is where the magic happens. We have 15 Maya scholars who tell the story about what happened. Are we all supposed to die on December 21st like the nut jobs like to tell us? No, we're not. But here is a great example through our book for the iPad of explaining why not and how all this silliness began. And one of the things we do that with is showing off these cool 3D images. There's 4 of them in this book. They were made right here in Dallas by some very talented designers. And one of them I already showed you in the previous video. It's the Rio Azul Mask #1. And if you just set it up on the screen, we've got it set in iBooks Author to where it will just sit there and spin until you touch it. So it's got animation built into it right off before you do anything with it. And then all you have to do is just rub your finger across the screen and you start to be able to do what you cannot do in a museum, and that's touch. And in these books, you're supposed to touch everything. It's like going to a museum and having permission to rub your hands on the face of the Mona Lisa, just to try to touch and feel and try to get the feeling for what the painter might have been feeling as he did it. You can do that here by going through the backs or the 3D imagery that we have in this book. There's that mask. You switch over a couple pages, and then there's this cooler, even somewhat scarier one. Most of the women that I show these to really don't want to touch them. They're just kind of spooky if you really get down to it. But the tongue coming out, forked tongue like that, I'm told means that this guy is actually dead. But as you spin them around, you can get to the back side, and then on the back side there's some more glyphs. You can see what's going on the text back there. You can't do this in a book made with the Kindle or the Nook or any other kind of book. And that's the point I want to keep driving home here. These are different. These are just completely different books. You've heard, some of you may have seen that Giorgio Tasakis, or whatever his last name is, on Ancient Aliens, the guy with the hair that's, pulled up and the orange painted on suntan. He loves to talk about the sarcophagus lid for Lord Pakal and how him and Eric von Däniken think that this is somehow a representation of a guy in a capsule depicted just like John Glenn in the Gemini rocket. I think it was Gemini. Back in the 60s. You've seen this image. We've turned it into a 3D manipulative for the book. You can even turn it. You can see the imagery. You can see the back. You can see the glyphs on the side of the piece. And we've even gone through and we've created a special piece that'll take you as you scroll your fingers across, and it'll walk you through the images that are on the edge and help explain what they're saying as you go around the edge of the sarcophagus lid. Those are 3 of the coolest things that we've been able to make for these books. And again, you can't do this on the Kindle. You can't do this on the Nook. You can't do this in a traditional book. I mean, we're not thinking about Kansas. Forget Kansas. We're not even in Hogwarts anymore. We are so far advanced on what that's going to be. The 4th 3D animation we have in this book is one that's, most of you are going to look at it and go, oh, that's the Mayan calendar. It's actually the Aztec calendar stone, and it's round, and it's the one that you've seen in the Ameritrade commercial where they've got the spinning thing, and there's dozens of books out there about the Maya, and they all have this image Even if you went on Google right now and you did a search for the Mayan calendar, you'd come up with this Aztec calendar stone. The Maya never saw it. And you get to explain and learn why when you read our book by Dr. Mark Van Stone and see the 3D imagery, and you can blow it up, you can look at the things here, and there are other things. There's a movie about it from Dr. Susan Milbreth in the University of Florida helping explain what this is all about. And again, you can't do this in a Nook. You can't do this in a Kindle. To my knowledge, you're not going to be able to do it on the Microsoft Surface either. You can only do it on the iPad, and then the iPad mini, and that is part of what makes these books so special, unique, and why you need to get an iPad today. Thanks for watching. I'm going to keep going with this series. I've got a lot to talk about of why these books are so interesting, so fascinating, and we still haven't even, we're still at the tip of the iceberg.